All right, I'm going to talk to you about the Bear. It's the Blairsville Extreme Adventure Race, and we just did it yesterday, so September 20th. Today's the 21st. I'm going to give you a kind of a rundown, and also what to expect if you're looking at doing the Bear. First to note is it's done by Warrior Racing, and this is Jeff's company. It's awesome. They put on a lot of adventure races. I love him. He's made it very accessible to everybody, and even my daughter has run races with me. She was 15, 16, and maybe once when she just turned 17, so 15 and 16. There are young kids that'll run it. There are old people that'll run it. I'm 51 and been racing for about 20 years. And anyway, so the Bear, usually in September, and it's usually out of Blairsville, and either they bus you somewhere or you start right from there, but it's a run or trek, and then mountain bike, and canoe. So you have those disciplines in there. The nice thing about an adventure race is you never know what you're going to get. And like I said, I've been doing this for about 20 years. And this was a very unique race in the sense that the checkpoints were all front loaded. I'm going to show you what that means. Out of our gym, CrossFit Garage here in Woodstock, Georgia, we have a couple racers. And we are, let's see right here. So Sam, he's usually in the 5 o'clock class. Brian is Randy's buddy. Randy usually comes to the 4 o'clock. Jordan is also a coach, and you'll see him in a lot of classes. Louie's been at the gym for years, usually in the afternoon. And we have Danielle, that's Randy's wife, and Tori, her teammate. Eddie's a guy I typically race with, so he's out of Social Circle, Georgia, and he's been able to endure my annoying personality, or fun personality, for like 20 years. So he's a good racer. He's super tall, and I am not, so sometimes that causes a problem. And this is Mark. He is a friend from Cherokee Christian school days when our boys were in class together. So the race did not go as expected. I had teamed up with Eddie. He has a hard time cutting checkpoints. He can clear a course, and I can follow him, and we can clear the thing. When I've been racing with my daughter, Evie, we typically don't clear everything, and she's like, Dad, let's just cancel that one out. Let's not do it, and whatever. I'm like, all right. So it makes the racing a little bit more fun and a little bit laid back when you can just not go to checkpoints. So anyway, we have a couple new guys. Randy's done a couple races. Jordan did one before. Louie and Sam were brand new to the racing, and so was Brian. Tori had done one race. Mark has done a couple. Anyway, I said, yes, let's try to stick together, and we'll help each other out as we go. Little did I know, so this thing was front-loaded, and we got separated immediately, and I thought I could catch up, and I could never catch up. So the problem was when I went to catch up, I didn't know that something else had happened, and I had just passed by them and was ahead of them. So in my catching up, we never caught up because we were ahead. So yeah, and you don't know in an adventure race because you really can't tell unless one of the race directors says something. And I've been racing for so long that if he had said something like, Andy, you're up front, I would have thought he was joking with me. Anyway, so let me get into some of the race. It was a lot of fun. It was just really tough and very different. So you can see here is a race list. There's a ton of racers out there. I think he said there was 190 people maybe, or something like that, or maybe 90 teams, but it was packed. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Okay, they do a live tracker. Let me see if I can find that. Yep, here it is. So they do a live tracker, and you can follow everybody. I think I've got it clicked in, so it's just us. Let me see. Yeah, 45. That's me and Eddie. Okay, so let's just show you our route, and it's going to be kind of funny. We are the blue line. So we started way down here, and they bust us up. So the race really didn't start till we got up here. The problem with that is you lose some race time. It starts at 8. It doesn't really. It starts at 9 now, so you lose some daylight. We were a little behind because the buses didn't show up, so the race didn't start until 9:30. Again, this is a problem because it gets darker now a little bit faster, and so eventually at the end, some people got stuck in the woods without lights. Typically, you always carry a headlamp just in case. I actually didn't, and this was a good wake-up call for me. I've been doing this for so long that I sort of take it for granted now. I'm just like, it's a race, whatever, let's go. And I got bit in the ass for it, and it was fun, it was funny, and at the time I was frustrated, but, you know, it is what it is, and I learned from it. Okay, so they bust us up. Right here is a start. What you're looking at is the red lines are the bike route. The green lines are the direct route between a trekking or on your feet movement, and then this I guess lighter blue is if you were to paddle it. This is, I guess, the optimal route, if you will. So our line is this kind of darkish blue one. We all started right here. They said, hey, you're going to run to checkpoint 1 and 2 and get those and come back, and then you can bike. So we're like, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's do this. We all decided to do it via 2 then 1, so we kind of went backwards, which is fine. It just separates the crowd a little bit, lets those who will run and be sprinting kind of get out ahead, because if you're going to put 100 bikes on a single track, then it gets pretty messy. So we ran out. First thing I didn't know is as we were doing this, everyone was kind of like crammed together, and so you get lost in just where is everybody. After coming back, I was chit-chatting with Eddie about, I guess we were still debating on whether we could pick everything up, and Jordan stepped in a hole or something and rolled his ankle, which again threw everything off. And no plan survives first contact with the enemy. So anyway, first thing is he rolled. Anyway, we get to the bikes, and our goal was to pick up these checkpoints down here that most people were going to skip. We ended up finishing the race with 15 minutes to spare, so I guess it worked out. But this was a whole lot. This probably took as much time as all the other checkpoints. So you bike out, pick up a checkpoint here, and again, the red is a trail, and then the blue is us. Now, the blue is like for real us. We're wearing a spot locator and a GPS locator, and it pings the net every once in a while. So I think it was pinging maybe once every 5 minutes, because there's a lot of like dots and turns, but we obviously did not swim across the water right here, so it didn't catch this. Whatever. We stayed on the trail. It gives you a rough idea of which you went. And this was kind of funny. Like down here, you can see, hey, I don't know what we're doing. Oh, there's a checkpoint. This one wasn't in the water, but it looks like it was. It's just, it can't mark everything exactly where it is, right? Let me see if I can drill in and get some topo lines. Can I get topography lines? Let's see, what is that? Oops. No, that is not what I want. All right, that's where I was at the moment. Oh, okay. So we'll go back here. Anyway, so we biked all this. There is bike trail maps, so you could have just looked at their map, but we also had a map. That's what I was trying to pull up, is the topo map, so you could see the lines. Actually, you know what I could do is, so I got Google Maps up here, Blairsville here, and then we were all the way up at this area, so we had to get back there eventually. This, let's see, is that the right spot? Let me double check that. Scroll out. Whoa. All right, so we are on this, yeah, this right here. So, oh, it's Jackrabbit. There used to be Jackrabbit Adventure Race, so obviously that would have been starting out of here. So if I scroll in, no, you can't see topo lines. Let's see if I can get that up for you. Interesting. It gives me the actual view. So if you look at this, you can sort of tell that this is the peak or the ridge of a mountain, but it's not giving me topography to show you. Let's see, terrain is what I picked. Street, wildfires, no. Transit, let's see. Nope. Traffic, biking, nah, it's not giving me any of that stuff. Measurements, nope. Yeah, okay, it doesn't show. That's unfortunate. It would have been neat to see what the terrain would have looked like. Okay, anyway, so we did the, we did the bike, and then you were to come back up here to the, actually, so funny part was all of our bike and stuff was right here, and when Eddie and I came back, I thought all the stuff would be there, but they had picked up and moved the TA to over here, just north of us. I didn't know they were going to do that. I should have read the notes a bit better. Anyway, when we pulled up, everything was gone except for the piece of stuff that I left on the ground. It was a trash bag full of things that I was going to put back in my bag. A bunch of our teammates had put stuff around that, so I thought when we got there, everything would be there, and it wasn't. So I looked at Eddie, and I was like, I think we are really far behind. Although there were people still in the woods behind us. We weren't in last, but I thought we are really far behind. So anyway, I said, let's try to motor this thing. We get up here, change out into to jog. We saw there was more people around, so I said, okay, we could probably catch up with the other guys. You can see our route right here. We went down the street, came up here, picked up this checkpoint, and then we went through the mountains. Actually, not too bad, and then went into the water. So this was a swim across, not so fun. And picked up another checkpoint in this re-entrant, and then rolled around. Randy and his crew said that they were able to actually walk across right here to pick this checkpoint up. That wouldn't have saved a lot of time, but when you're on the canoe, anything to not canoe, on flat water like this is kind of nice. So anyway, we jumped in the canoes right about here and hauled it around. And this went for a long way. This right here was about an hour and a half of paddling. You can see a couple of checkpoints along the way. We got down here and we switched back over to feet, which is great because by the time you're done with all that, your legs are just crushed. You're like, I'm not your legs, your arms are just crushed from all the paddling. So we got to swap out. This is where we caught up to Danielle and Randy, and then everybody took off and we pretty much didn't see them again. I think we ended up bumping into them one more time when we were lost up here. So didn't see the rest of the guys, but saw those two. So when we went up this trail, as you can see, our blue line is all over the place. We could not place ourselves. So we went up this trail a little bit and then we decided to come back. There was another checkpoint way out here that we didn't get because we just got lost. Lost in the sense of, I don't know which trail we're supposed to be on. There was more trails out there than what they show. And I knew roughly where we were and that we needed to go west, but not specifically what trail we were on. So anyway, we looked for about an hour, and you can see down here in the time frames for that checkpoint, where is it, 24 area. So it took us about an hour to find that checkpoint. And we walked almost right on top of it right here, and then just got crazy. Wow, that was a gut check for, do you remember even how to adventure race? So typically when you get lost, what you should say is, let's go back to where we knew where we were and then redo this. I didn't say that. I was like, you know what? Let's just go up the hill a little bit. Now, as you can see, I went up the hill a lot. That's a bad idea. I just didn't want to go back down the hill. And so I, eventually, yeah, we were just dumb. We looked all around. There was a bunch of people out here. Eventually found it after about an hour. And the only reason we really found it is some guys that had gotten this checkpoint over here, 24, ran down the hill. And so they ran down this hill, I think. And no, it would have been this one because we were over here. Anyway, this feature right here where it kind of like does like a finger point or a hard turn, we could recognize on the map. So that was on our map as well. So once we found this, we knew where we were and we simply walked down, and sure enough, the checkpoint was in the tree or in some rocks. So we found that and then made our way. The thing that we didn't know at the time is when we made it over here to our bikes, he said, hey, the bike out is about 2 hours. That's not the case. We're okay bikers, and it took us 3.5 hours, I think, to get back. I could actually probably time that out from the different checkpoints. So boat takeout, and that was CP, I think 25. Oh, there's TA right there. So yeah, that's just about 3 hours and something. Anyway, you can see there's a little bit of road riding, which isn't terrible, but sometimes the roads can be busy. During the daylight, not a big deal. At night, it can get a little dicey. This section, once we started going up, it went up and up and up. It's hard to imagine, like, this area must be several thousand feet above, maybe it's around 1,000, but it felt like it, above this lake, because we biked up until right about here. Then there was some downhill. And then even when we got to the last checkpoint on well, maybe not the last, but on this mountain road, it didn't feel like it was much downhill. So this obviously was down to get back to the lake because you're on a mountain. But man, this was mostly a bike push. So we pushed our bikes, which is what we're hoping to do in the TNGA, is to push our bikes like when we go up the hill, just get off and push to save our feet and our legs, our thighs and our rear ends from problems. Anyway, we got back here. That was a pretty easy bike, just following the roads, which this road is relatively busy, not so great. Our buddies made a very smart call. They were up in this area and they knew, hey, we're not going to make it back in time. Let's go down to 76. So they cut all of this out, and this was treacherous. They said getting out of Young Harris was a bit steep, but then it was downhill the rest of the way. It's a very smart call. They came in on time. As we were driving, we went to the grocery store over here, and as we were driving, it was up here. As we were driving back this direction to get to our Airbnb, we saw people coming past us, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. So they were way past time and didn't have the right lighting. So that was not great. Not the biggest of problems, except that it was kind of a bigger road, and I don't think a lot of the new people maybe had the right gear. So, that's on them. It is in the mandatory gear that you should bring this sort of stuff. Maybe not a headlamp when you were supposed to finish with daylight, but you should always bring that anyway. I think potentially the problem that happened with the timing, he had said in the brief, hey, this will probably take you 2 hours. And I think it took us 3 hours. So it might have been 2 hours for a good biker. Like his son, Hunter, has some incredible endurance, and he probably powered through those hills. No, we could not. All in all, it was a great race. It was fun. We pushed ourselves. It did not go, like, as soon as we got checkpoint 1 and 2, everything that I thought was going to happen went off the map. We never found our friends again because, again, I thought we were behind them, so we pushed really hard, and we were in front of them. The canoe portion was okay. It was pretty easy, straightforward. I'm not a big fan of paddling on lakes. Sometimes when you do this race, they have you on the lake. So we'll be on this one right here. What is this? Lake? I don't even know. Sometimes we'll paddle on this guy. Other times we'll be on just after the dam and we'll do the river. Where would the river be? Probably, no, it's a bridge. Let's see, where's the dam? There's a dam with the river in here somewhere. So we'll do that. It's just kind of fun. You never know exactly what the race is going to be. You prepare as best as you can, and then it's an adventure, and you race. Sometimes it's just an adventure with no racing whatsoever. Other times, like we did a race, Blue Ridge this year, 2025, and it was just a race. I don't think we really had to try very hard to do any orienteering or figuring out the map. That one was relatively straightforward. So, yeah, anyways, fun times. That is the Bear. I would recommend it to everybody. I think the next one that we plan on doing, or at least I plan on doing, is Omar. So that is Oak Mountain. Let's see if I can find it. He's got a lot of races. Some of them in Florida. I just don't have the time for it. This one right here, this C2C, is a 3-day race. No bueno. So the Oak Mountain now has a 24-hour option. I am not a big fan of 24-hour races anymore. I get tired, and I would like to sleep. So 10 hours is good enough for me. So my goal is to bring some more guys from the gym and maybe use this one intentionally as, hey, it's just training day. I'm going to go solo so that nobody's depending on me, and then I can help anybody else that needs help. I think Blue Ridge is actually during the kids' graduation, so I'll miss that one this year. I don't think I've missed that one in quite some time. But anyway, it's fun stuff. If you are looking for an adventure race, try Warrior Adventure Racing. They've got a lot of great adventure races. They also have trail runs. I'm not a big fan of just running for the sake of running. I like to do it out in the woods with a map. But yeah, maybe trail running is for you. All right, that's it. If y'all ever need help out there in the world, put some comments in the doodly-doo below, and I'll try to answer them. Y'all take care.